So Highland Wise Podcast, I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy goddamn motherfucking Tuesday.
Tuesday, ain't it?
I know that's right. Shout out British people.
Shout out British people. Happy Tuesday. Sorry no podcast last night, but we try not to miss a week if we can help it. You'll never believe it when you look at our calendar. It's so light this week. We were like, we got all the time in the world.
Well, I mean, we could put it here, we could put it there. I mean, honestly, let's do 3 podcasts. Why not? Let's act like we've listened to everything and predict how we're gonna feel about the new singles. Great.
Yeah, we're thinking about shooting the reviews for November. We haven't heard the records yet, but we just have the time this week.
Exactly, might as well. Predictable, right?
Yeah,
Should be fine.
Yeah, we've heard enough of the singles.
Half of them, we've already heard all the tracks because of all the fucking singles.
But yeah, I'm stalling because I don't know what the fuck to talk about. I did go to a couple of shows over the weekend. On Friday, I saw Little Hag, Latewaves, Nematode, girlbossanova, and Emily Darcy here in Asbury Park at House of Independence. It was a good time. It was a good time. All the bands fucking rocked. And it was overall a pretty good show. Emily Darcy was her first time playing with a full band behind her. So that was exciting. She had 3/4 of Range Life backing her as the backing band. Girl Bossa Nova was great. That's second or third time seeing them. Nematode was interesting. They were like the wild card on the bill. I didn't know what to expect. They were the only band that I wasn't super familiar with. I thought that they were they were pretty good. They brought a little bit of mixture to the bill in terms of sonics, which I thought was fun. Latewaves, they're always fucking incredible. They're such a tight live band. They seemed really locked in this time around, where they're always locked in, but they just seemed extra locked in on Friday night. And then Little Hag played her new record front to back. I have a copy of the vinyl behind me. Avery gave it to me at the end of the show. I walked up to her. She's like, "You want anything?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take a vinyl, please."
I'll take that. I'll take that.
I'll take the vinyl of the record that you just played in full. So yeah, that it was great. She played her new song "Show Me Your Head" as well, which always goes off live. I can't lie. So yeah, that was a good time. And then Saturday, I saw Rachel and Ana Dobken at the Bond Street Block Party, which was also in Asbury Park. It's like my 47th time seeing Rachel. It's almost like I work with her or something.
Almost, right? Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. She played a couple of new songs, which are songs I haven't even heard yet. That was legit my first time hearing them. So I thought her set was pretty solid. Last gig before the big one in Ocean City, Maryland this weekend, playing Ocean's Calling. So yeah, it was good. It was good to get the knock the heebie-jeebies off, the cobwebs, if you will. So yeah, it was a solid weekend. Coming up for me, I just have the Waterparks underplay, and that kind of rounds out my month. I'm keeping it light these days. Also keeping it light because Mike Hem announced more tour dates yesterday.
I saw that.
And there's a New York City date.
I think there was a DC date too.
There's
and
DC.
I went, oh.
You should do it. World Traveler over here is saying, DC.
DC. It's like, because it's like I saw them and I feel so ripped off because I saw them when they were like on their We're Back tour, and I paid a pretty penny for those fucking tickets just for them to stumble around on stage in their regular ass clothes. And then you're telling me the very next tour you guys just have this entire, there's a storyline, there's a book
that keeps
to fucking
evolving.
follow.
It's
wild.
Like
you couldn't have shit this together like on your first tour. It's not like you had like a timeline or anything because it was your first tour back. People didn't even know you were back. But I would love to go to that. I would love to go to that. My friend and I were talking about going, so
yeah, well,
before it was announced.
I'll be joining the bloodbath on Friday at noon.
God, that's scary.
I really buying my chem tickets is the band I loathe buying tickets for the most. Sure, there's pop artists where I've literally lost out on tickets because it's such a bloodbath, but my chem is like it's so bad that I'm considering taking off work on Friday because I know that it's going to take me like. This is an hour-long process. This right here, because
it is. I haven't done one of those in a while.
Yeah, this is a lock the fuck in, strap in, motherfucker. It's gonna be a long time. And
set alarms. Have your phone and computer up.
Yeah, I'm heavily considering being like I gotta work from home Friday, or at least go in late. Or take a very extended lunch break, or something along those lines, because there's absolutely nothing stopping me from getting those My Chem tickets on Friday, other than the Ticketmaster powers that be themselves, and I don't like to lose. So we'll see. I'll see you guys all out on the battlefield on Friday. Maybe
you'll see me.
May the best soldier win.
There you go. Yeah. Shout out Black Parade.
Yeah. Shout out Black Parade.
I went to a show this past Thursday. I went to fucking Alabama to see Windwaker, Invent, Animate, Northlane, and The Plot in You. And it was actually fucking insane. I mean, if you could tell by my voice, I'm just now getting my voice back, and it is Tuesday. It's almost been a full week, and my voice is just now at like 80%. We had to cancel the podcast last night because we did an interview before the podcast, and I kept talking to Shane in between. There were connection issues, whatever, and I was talking to Shane. I was like, dude, I did not realize my voice was this fucking bad, because I have my mic here so I can hear myself now, and I'm like, damn. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, incredible show. I got to see Windwaker. They played their new track live, Victory Lap. They took off all of my favorite songs off the set list. I got a chance to speak to Liam at the end of the show, and I was like, yo, what the fuck happened to The Wall? Because that's my favorite song by them. And he was like, no, it's crazy because it's like, it's the last show. We had to take off The Wall. We had to take off Fractured State of Mind, and we had to take off Break the Rules. I looked at him, I was like, dude, those are literally my 3 favorite songs by you guys. And he was like, oh, fuck, that sucks. I was like, I know! And then he tried to get me to go to the fucking, what's the new tour that they're on?
With Northlane, Like Moss to Flames.
Yes, yeah. He's like, oh, we have all those songs on that set list. I was like, fuck off, you know? So that was great. My first time seeing Invent Animate, they were actually phenomenal. I understand why Invent Animate and Silent Planet are grouped together so heavily, because it is the exact same level of, I guess, dedication and energy and almost kind of like grace that they have on stage. It seems very just poetic how they conduct themselves and kind of like how their body moves as they're singing. It feels very effortless, but it also feels intentional. It's very cool. I like it. They're not just kind of like stomping around stage and like doing, which I fuck with. Mm-hmm. Everyone keeps stomping around on stage, but it's like they do like little twirls and shit, and I go, that's dope. Everyone, we need more metal artists twirling is what I'm saying. Northlane was incredible. There was a moment I posted on my story where he was wearing a red jacket. I did not know it was red. I thought it was a black jacket because, color theory and all that shit. The lights were green, so it made it look black. And then the lights changed, and my mind was fucking blown. I don't think it was on purpose. I don't think that was intentional. Fucking awesome. I literally went, whoa, what the fuck? It was insane. It was fucking crazy. They were great live. I didn't really know what to expect going into that one. With Invent Animate, I could kind of piece together, well, one of my favorite bands is heavily associated, so I'm sure they're good. But Northlane I went in completely blind. Shit went bonkers. Shit went crazy. And then The Plot in You, I love The Plot in You. I've seen them once. Okay, I've seen them once. And it was because of The Plot in You and Windwaker being on the same bill that I was like, I have to fucking fly. I have to be here. I could have gone to New Jersey.
Or any of the other dates that were a little bit closer.
It was closing night and I got to see my grandmother. I was like, fuck, man. Might as well, right? Might as well fucking go all the way to Alabama. Holy shit. The Plot New is honestly like one of my favorite live bands ever. Granted, I don't think, if I'm being completely honest, I don't think Landon tours. I don't think his stage presence is like insane, you know? He does his thing. He walks around, he sings. It feels like he's putting more effort into the actual product and what you're hearing instead of like putting on a show for you, I guess. This tour, it did feel more intentional with kind of like the little setups that they had. I mean, there was a moment where he was sitting down, he's playing the acoustic guitar. It was Silence, the new song, the intro, where it did feel more of a show, more like a show. But it's just he just kind of walks around and he does this silly little thing. He doesn't really talk to the crowd. He doesn't do anything, but it is the actual wall of sound that they create and the emotion that you could feel on that stage that automatically goes to the crowd. They are one of my favorite live bands. They don't do too much, but they do exactly what you need. Silence is now my new favorite Plot New song. I loved it when it first came out, but after hearing it live, I listened to it. It's been like the only song that I've listened to recently. And like I had an 8-hour travel day when coming back, and it was the only song that I listened to. We'll check on that in like a week. So yeah, show was great. Fucked.
Oh yeah, I love to hear it. Well, yeah, we've got a bunch of new records to chat about, EPs, singles. We got the whole gamut this week. Kicking it off, DED released their new album, Resent. We had Joe on the podcast again when this the clipped review drops. The interview will have dropped 3 hours before then. So go check it out. It was a fantastic conversation and great to catch up with Joe off the back of this new record because we had him on for the first time to chat about their previous album, School of Thought. I'm a huge DED fan, so when this
is your
when this album started to roll out, I was like, oh man, we're so back. They'd signed to UNFD, and it was all very exciting. Although, if you watch these long form things long enough into the singles, you'll know that I wasn't a huge fan of the first couple of singles because it was a departure from what the band had done recently. I mean, the first record was very much nu metal inspired. The second album was a little bit more of like going for mass appeal. It was kind of like the safe option, which I love both those albums. With all of my being, I'm not upset by the fact that the last album was the safe option.
Because it's still fun.
I love that shit. I don't know what to tell you. I spent a lot of time with that album. So, coming off the back with a song like Rockstar, or especially Until I Die, which I had high expectations for, considering the feature on there being Chris Motionless from Motionless in White, one of my all-time favorite bands, and the entire reason why I found DED, because I saw DED open for Motionless in White and In This Moment. I was kind of like, okay, yeah, I don't know about this. But then they announced the record with Eraser, and that kind of changed things for me. That was a little bit more of what I was expecting the sound to be. And then Purpose was the Purpose Be Myself was the single right before the album came out, and I was sold on that song as well. But getting to hear the full album, there is an eclectic mix of things on here. So some sounds that you've heard them do before, like a couple of the songs reminiscent of the first record with a little bit more nu metal sound, songs that are more reminiscent of their most recent album, or the album before this one, School of Thought, that are a little bit more like straight up down the line metalcore songs that you would hear on Octane. And then like a lot of experimentation all over the album, which the first couple of singles actually showcase pretty well. That kind of creates this very unique and interesting listening experience. I've been looking, like I've kind of been floundering in my own personal music listening over the past couple of weeks, not really sure what to listen to. And part of that has to do with how nutso our schedule's been, and the fact that I'm spending so many listening hours of my week taking in the music for this. But the times that I do find myself having time to listen, I'm like, I don't know, like there's really no, in that span of time, a few weeks, there was no like new record that I was super amped on to listen to, you know, and the new stuff that I had been spinning, I had spent a lot of time with. So this album kind of came in at the perfect time to save me from those feelings of, oh my god, do I even like music anymore? So
Jesus, yeah, in there.
So shout out Dead for that. But yeah, this album, like, I knew I had heard it before it came out. We did, like I said, we did an interview with Joe, but this album, 12 a.m. Friday, this shit went on before the new Waterparks single that I was equally as excited for and hadn't heard yet. So I'm really digging this album. Like I said, it's a very eclectic mix of a bunch of different sounds and things that I never thought I would hear Dead do. But they did a great job of molding it into this package where, like, you don't get any sort of whiplash because it all falls under this metalcore umbrella. But you know, the production's a little bit grimier. Like the last album, everything was very clean sounding, and you could hear Joe very well. This record, you know, self-produced, so there's a little bit of grime behind it where that took some getting used to. You know, where I don't hear Joe as clearly. Some of the instruments are a little bit more muddied together, but it's very clearly a stylistic choice and what they're going for, because then there's songs like Purpose, Be Myself, and Eraser, which are just like, I can hear everything very clearly. You know, like You Want Honest, which has Chad from Mudvayne on it. That song with Chad on it makes so much sense because it's got some Mudvayne influence on it in the production and whatnot. Which we didn't know what the features were when we listened to this record the first time. So when I saw them on Spotify, I was like, holy shit, the dude from Mudvayne, Upon a Burning Body, and we obviously knew about Chris from Motionless in White. I was like, what a nuts round of features. So yeah, like I said, so much time spent with this album. I'll be continuing to spend more time with this record. And you know, Wasted is one of my favorites. That the chorus of that song was stuck in my head all day Friday. I had the Little Hag show that I talked about earlier, and I listened to this record on the way there, and obviously all morning and everything, and then I had like 10 hours where I couldn't listen to it because I was working, and I just kept singing that to myself. I probably looked insane walking around the venue singing these words to myself, but it just that's been stuck in my head. You Want Honest is another one of my favorites. Purpose, Be Myself, and Eraser are songs I keep shouting out because those are kind of what ultimately turn the tides on me for me with the record and the rollout and getting me excited. So I love those songs. Point of No Return, Never Belong, Until I Die has grown on me. I think that it's great in the closer spot. Fight Forever to Rot. You know, there's just every single song on here is really, really solid. There's not a single slow moment, which I really appreciate. There's no slowing down. They just keep kicking you. And yeah, it's incredible. I'm so stoked about this. This is better than I thought it was going to be.
Hell yeah. I'm so happy to hear that, and I'm happy to hear that this is like one of the records that's been standing out for you this year, because it's been a year.
It's been
I feel like we talk about it. We talk about it a lot, where it's like, shit, man, what even happened this year? It's like,
I'm gonna have to do a very intense deep dive at the end of the year. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I've been trying to keep track, man. Like, you know, I have my list already, and I'm scratching my head every time I look at it. Like, fuck, I only have like 3, man. No, I think this record is incredible. We've been following Dead for years, and I know Shane has been a massive fan. When it came in the inbox and I saw Dead was going to be on the podcast, I was like, we made it. Basically, it's kind of like the shit. This is a big deal.
Well, when we got the record, I texted Glory like she gives a shit. I'm like, new Dead albums in the inbox. You'll never believe what I did that night.
You won't believe it. And it's just shit like that is why I'm like, yeah, this the podcast thing. It's pretty cool. Anyways, so this Dead record is absolutely fantastic. I completely agree with you. And it kind of fucking sucks because I'm going to sound like I'm just yes-manning. But all of the songs that you named are my favorites off the record. The first half is absolutely incredible. Not to say that the second half is, you know, lesser or worse. I just think, holy shit, they hit such a stride, and it is crazy. My personal favorites, You Want Honest, Purpose, Be Myself, Rockstar, Eraser, Never Belong. Those fucking tracks back to back to back to back are absolutely fucking crazy. I do agree with you on kind of like the production style and the vibe that they're going for, which is kind of like the grimy, gritty metalcore. I also really like the technical influences on it. It definitely reminds me of kind of like what we're seeing come out of like Australian metalcore right now, where it's like it's technical and it's kind of fun and not electronic, but it's like jagged. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's not necessarily the hazy thing that's coming out of Australian metalcore that you see with like Thornhill, but it's kind of more of kind of like the Alpha Wolf thing that you see, where it's just kind of like it just sounds like noise, but it's like jagged and sharp and strong, and it kind of just fucking it hits you, and it's so fun, and I love that. Um, I really, I fuck man, I just really like this record a lot. I think the sound is great. I think it flows really well. It doesn't linger. It doesn't overstay its welcome to say, and yeah, no, I'm thoroughly surprised, and I'm very happy with how the record came out.
Hell yeah, they're on tour currently, supporting In This Moment, Dayseeker, and The Funeral Portrait. That's a stacked ass bill that I wish was coming near my house, but peep the dates if it's going near you. I highly recommend that. That's a solid lineup right there.
That's actually fucking bonkers. Motion City Soundtrack dropped their new album, The Same Old Wasted Wonderful World. Woo! God, I don't know. My brain kind of struggled with that for a second.
I love Motion City Soundtrack, and the fact that we're getting a new record is not something that I thought was going to happen. Although obviously, you know, the band has returned. They returned to live shows, so an album was going to come at some point. But I don't know. Still, when they announced that, I was like, we're getting a new Motion City Soundtrack record. I can't believe that. But now it's here, it's sitting in front of us, and I've listened to it a couple times now, and I still can't quite wrap my head around the fact that there's a new Motion City Soundtrack record after 10 years since the last one. I really went into this record with no expectations other than, goddamn, do I love Motion City Soundtrack as a live band, and I love Commit This to Memory, their 2005 record. And what I walked away with is, this is exactly what a band coming back, you know, has to accomplish. You know, they've been back, they've been touring for so long, but there's been no new music alongside that. And this is the perfect balance of old influence and pandering and to the old fans and giving them something that isn't just the old music, and continuing to expand and grow as a band and do and kind of move the sound along as well, which is and they execute that flawlessly, which is hard to do. So that is because, like, there's plenty of songs on this record that are very reminiscent to me of Commit This to Memory, with the basically the keyboard is very, very 2005, which I love that shit. So like a song like Particle Physics, which has Patrick Stump on it from Fallout Boy.
So pause right there, because holy shit, this song came on and I was like, who is that? I was like, I know that voice. What the fuck is Patrick Stump doing here? It was like, I have not seen a Patrick Stump feature in what feels like fucking years. So it's just craziest pull.
What if I blew your mind and told you that Patrick Stump filled in for Justin on vocals recently because he was unavailable for a performance, so he did some of the set?
What, just recently?
Yeah, recently.
I remember Justin posting about like, hey, I can't, I'm sick.
Yeah.
Patrick Stump filled in for.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just Patrick Stump filling in for him.
Yeah.
It's just
they're obviously good friends. Patrick Stump is a not credited feature because he did like harmonies on one of the songs on Commit This to Memory. The song is slipping my mind, but yeah, that's very like the lore runs deep there, just like how all of those like bands from that era in the early 2000s, they were all intertwined. And if you listen to an Academy's record, you hear X artist on it, and Panic at Disco, you hear Y. You know, Motion City Soundtrack was very much ingrained in that part of the scene.
Patrick Stump. That's crazy. Sorry, continue. It's just my actual like shock when I saw the name Patrick Stump as a feature.
Well, okay. Even knowing the relationship, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I saw the feature and I'm like, what
Yeah.
the
So
it's still
what's
like,
going on here?
what the hell? Like, and I knew
What
the
is that?
relationship. I knew he'd been on songs in the
Yeah.
past. I was like, that is insane. But the feature pulls across the board are honestly crazy. And
Yes.
obviously,
Yeah.
Patrick Stump is wild. Matt from Citizen is fantastic. Your Days Are Numbered is great. And then Sincere Engineer, who's an artist that we have been following along with for a while as
Yeah.
well. On things like this is great as well. But yeah, like a song like Particle Physics is like the definition of that nostalgia. And then there's other songs on the record that are a more modern take on Motion City Soundtrack, which is I love. That is, like I said, I really had no expectations. I didn't know what I wanted. Honestly, I think Motion City Soundtrack is a phenomenal band. I love them live. They're not always a band I go out of my way to listen to just because I have to be in a certain kind of
Motion City Soundtrack
a
headspace.
certain kind of feeling or emotion to a headspace is perfect to listen to them, because I have a tendency to just naturally gravitate towards heavier things. But they're the band that every time they're in town, I'm there, because their live performance is just a step above most bands. Like, I've been at festivals that they've been at, and there could be two bands on, and they could be the band that I've seen 4 or 5 times at this point, and an artist I've never seen before that I'm intrigued by, and I will probably still go pick Motion City Soundtrack just because I know that the performance is going to be off the chain, which is crazy to say about a band that sounds like Motion City Soundtrack, but the performance is off the chain.
Yeah, they go crazy.
Seeing them live is what ultimately sold me on the band. They were touring in 2020, actually doing a 15-year anniversary tour for Commit This to Memory, and I was at the point in my life where I was so young that my mom was still taking me to the shows, and it was a show on a Saturday night at Starland Ballroom, and my agreement with my mom was only shows on the weekends because of school, and I vaguely knew the band's name from existing and listening to other bands that associated with them, so I was just like, I want to go to this, Mom.
I'll go to a show.
So I went, having only listened to Commit This to Memory a handful of times to at least know something, and walked away just being absolutely blown away by what had unfolded in front of me on stage. It's similar to what happened with Silverstein, basically the same story there, with discovering the waterfront. So yeah, this band holds a special place in my heart, and this record is it turns out to be exactly what I wanted, despite me not knowing really what I wanted from a new Motion City Soundtrack, because the singles were kind of all over the place, and kind of hard for me to really place my thoughts on where this was going, and my feelings, just because they were pulling from all these different things, which ultimately winds up is very much showcased in the record. But pulling from all over the place, I was just kind of like, I don't know where they're coming from. There's a song that's reminiscent of the past. There's a song that's very modern, and it's just all over the fucking map. And I don't know where we're gonna end up. So getting to hear the record in its entirety allowed me to come away with that opinion, and I'm beyond stoked on this album.
Damn straight. So again, this is like another one of the bands where it's like you have a deep history with them and a deep admiration for them. I fucking love Motion City Soundtrack. I mean, we spoke to Justin
5 years ago.
I was gonna say, like, holy shit. It took me a second because I was like, damn, that felt like, like last year. 5 years ago. We spoke to, I was probably like 15. Oh my God. I was like nothing. Holy shit. Damn. Oh wow. So we spoke to Justin ages ago, and that was my introduction to Motion City Soundtrack. Obviously, being in the scene and kind of like being in the alternative environment, I knew the name. Didn't know the sound or the face, was introduced to them in that moment. That was really cool. Since then, though, I hadn't really followed them except for the couple singles we would get, or Shane just being like, I saw Motion City Soundtrack
for the
again.
9th time. Let's
I
talk
loved
about
it.
it.
And I loved it. And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. All right, man. I saw them briefly at Warped Tour. I stood at their stage for a couple minutes and then said, I gotta go get a corn dog. So I got my corn dog. But honestly, I thought that this record was fantastic. The funniest thing, halfway through the record, I was like, this is gonna be hilarious, but I'm gonna sound like a fucking dick. I love Weezer, you know? Because it's just there are some Weezer elements in this. Maybe that's just because it's the era that I'm relating it to, where it's kind of that, I guess, happy-go-lucky rock is kind of what I want to call it, where it's just like it's the sound itself is lighthearted. It kind of makes you want to sway a little bit. It is just kind of like that fun, upbeat music, and it fucks, and I love it. The only reason why I say Weezer is because that's the only band in my head that I drew to. I don't know. I think Weezer's fun. I love Weezer. Shout out. Um, Again, as I said before, I was listening to this as I was baking, and I literally stopped everything when I kind of heard a voice that sounded a little familiar. And seeing fucking Patrick Stump on this record is absolutely insane. I don't know. He sounded great. He sounded incredible. I'm not mad at it, but it was just wildly confusing for me because I did not know the lore. I didn't know the history. I was just like, how the fuck did they just pick Patrick Stump off the side of the road and say, hey, you want to come on the record? And it's just fucking, all right. I thought the Matt Kierix feature was absolutely insane as well. Your days are numbered. I fucking loved She Is Afraid, which was a single, but off second or third listen. I don't know how many times I gave it a listen when it was just a single. I thought it was okay, but hearing it in the context of the record and kind of in the world of this album got me really excited for it. I don't know. I think it was a great choice for a single. I think it definitely encapsulates kind of the sound and the energies that they're going for on the record. So that was great. I did enjoy Downer a lot. I enjoyed Bloodline. Oh, and the Sincere Engineer feature was also fucking insane. I thought this record was great. Definitely a kind of like that summery vibe for me. As I said, it's kind of that happy-go-lucky, almost not beachy because it doesn't have any like of those like reggae elements at all. But just kind of that vibe where it's sunny, you're listening to it, and you are just having a fucking blast. I don't know. I like it a lot.
Hell yeah. I just realized that I didn't give my favorites. I was so wrapped up in I love this band.
Yeah, I kind of assumed the whole record was your favorite because how much you like it. Yeah, go.
Somewhere a Dark Heart, the opener, She Is Afraid, Particle Physics, those first three songs are incredible. Your Days Are Numbered and Downer, and then the closer as well, the title track, are all songs that stood out to me. But yeah, basically the entire album is a safe assumption.
There you go. And also here, so just so I'm not just letting Weezer hold in there, Origami Angel is also a great example of kind of like that summery, happy-go-lucky rock. So that is also another band that I would like to draw to. There you go.
Hell yeah. I Prevail dropped a new album, Violent Nature. We have been curious about this record, that's for sure. This is the first album where Eric is stepping up and doing soul lyrical duties, soul frontman energy vibe, doing the cleans as well as the screams. It's been interesting because like it came the album cycle started with Violent Nature, the title track, which is exactly what I expected the band to sound like, with Eric stepping up to take the duties, because he was the screamer in the band beforehand. And then we started getting all these other songs that were all over the map and really showcasing the range of what this album was going to do. And finally got to hear the new record, which I was just very intrigued by this record. I enjoyed some of the singles, but not all of them. I kept coming back to the heavy songs. That's what I kept coming back to. But again, that's naturally me. So you give me a song like Annihilate Me as a single, and that's not a song that I'm necessarily coming back to as a single. That's a context of the album song. But I think the record is solid. I think the record is solid, but it's a lot less heavy than I thought it was going to be, honestly. With Eric stepping in, I thought that there was going to be a heavier emphasis on the band being a little bit crazier. Violent Nature, I thought that was kind of where we were heading sonically, and then they just let you know that wasn't happening right away with the second single, Into Hell. So that's kind of been my main thing, is like this record has a very heavy emphasis on clean vocals,
Yeah.
which I didn't expect. Not to say that that's a bad thing, but that's just something I picked up on, is there's a very heavy emphasis on clean vocals, and it just wasn't an expectation of mine. So this album has been growing on me. I've definitely spent time with it. You know, I joke, I spent a lot of time with the DED album, but I did obviously check this one out and give it a few spins ahead of reviewing it. And it's still growing on me. Each time I listen to it, I come away enjoying it a little bit more. But that was kind of my first thoughts, is like, okay, just kind of reframing my mindset. So if you went in with a similar mindset to me, based off of, you know, what we've known Eric to do in the past, as well as what the band themselves kind of led with, although like I said, they very clearly with the second single was like, yeah, that's not going to be the entire record.
Reset your expectations.
Yeah. Then just keep giving the album a fair shot, especially if you've been a fan of I Prevail in the past, like I was. This album is obviously still very much I Prevail. It's got that I Prevail flair to it. It's just there's an adjustment there, because you're going from two vocalists to one taking both duties. So there's definitely an adjustment there. I wish the record was track listed a little bit more to have an ebb and flow to it, because I feel like a lot of the heavy songs are kind of sandwiched together, and then in the middle of the record you get a lot of clean moments to kind of close off with a couple of heavier moments. So it opens with some songs that go right at you, with Synthetic Soul, NWO, which is New World Order, Pray, and then Violent Nature. Annihilate Me's in there, but that's a nice like melodic moment. It's not super heavy, but it keeps the vibes kind of up here. And then you kind of drop down for a little bit, especially with Crimson and Clover being the slowest song on the album, and finishing off with God and Stay Away. I just feel like the singles are they're sandwiched together in the middle of the album, and I wish there was a little bit more of a flow to the record, and those were strewn about a little bit more, because it kind of leaves the middle feeling it just feels very familiar, because I've heard all these songs before, and that's a personal gripe of mine, but that doesn't take away from the fact that this album is solid. That's just a personal gripe of mine, that I wish that there was a little bit more variety in where I was hearing these singles, but that's something we always shout out or make a note of when singles are kind of clumped together on records. But I've because of that, I do like the way the record opens, because it punches you in the face like 3 or 4 times in a row. So I can't complain about that too much, because that's exactly how I want my records to start. The opening, the first couple of songs are very reminiscent of Stigma to me, the way that record by Wage War opens, because that's just a straight up punch in the gut that I kind of get from this record as well. And I love the way that album opens, so I'm gonna give them that. Yeah, sure, the track listing and the way the singles are is a gripe, but the fact that they punch me in the face right away, I'm not too mad about it. And you know, the track listing could have been different if they opened with a single instead, you know.
Exactly.
So there you go. Yeah, that's my review. Is just, it's still growing on me. I'm enjoying it more and more with each listen, but if you're like me and you had maybe different expectations going in, then just keep listening, basically, is where I'm at. I really like Synthetic Soul, NWO, Pray, Violent Nature, Annihilate Me. Really like the first half of the album is some of my favorites. Annihilate Me's been growing on me, and I do like God and Stay Away. But yeah, there's a lot of really really good songs on this album. So I'm stoked to keep listening.
There you go. So damn, there's a theme with the records today, because it's like all of these records are bands, except the next one. I'm very excited about that. But it's just you have like a deep history with a lot of these bands. You're a fan of all of these bands, so it's a big week for you. Congratulations! This is
big listening week, man.
Exactly, huge. Friday was exciting for you. I know Friday was exciting for you. But with I Prevail, they've never been a band that I've been, I guess, a fan of. I think they're great. I admire them. I thought their music was great before the split, and I think after the split, I think they're still doing great music. Going through this record, you can definitely tell there's a shift, and it's a little strange. I like it a lot. I like the sound of the record, but I agree with you where it feels a bit clunky. It's not flowing as well. it's just kind of jagged, I guess, because it is kind of like start stop, with just kind of the dynamic of the super heavy songs and then the clean vocal songs where it's like there isn't much screaming at all. So I was also hoping once hearing that the clean vocalist left, I was like, oh shit, they're gonna go like fucking crazy now, right? They didn't, and it's kind of strange. Like I'm cool with, a couple, singing songs, but it's like I think everyone and their mother was assuming that it's like, oh, you guys are gonna go like fucking heavy as shit now, right? They did not. Now I do want to say I love the middle half, I guess the middle section a lot. I think Violent Nature, Rain, Into Hell, and Crimson Clover are great. Into Hell I know is one of the softer songs, but I do think In Between Rain and Crimson and Clover is exactly where it needs to be. My personal favorite is Rain off the entire record. That one is just, it's such a fucking banger, dude. It's heavy as shit. It has little technical moments. The riffs are so fun to listen to. They're bouncy and strong. It's just solid fucking song. I love it. And that one stood out to me in the context of the record. I think it's fucking great. I think it opens up fine. Synthetic Soul, NWO, and Prey, I think are great. But it's just like I was left with kind of like, this is good, but it's not what I expected. And that's fine. I mean, it's a new era for the band. Obviously, they're going to be doing different things or trying to do the same thing, but just kind of like with a different recipe. So obviously they're gonna be it's gonna sound new and it's exciting. And I hope all the fans of I Prevail do give it a chance instead of going, well, it's not exactly what I want. I agree with you when it's just like if you are a fan of I Prevail, if you know their older stuff, just keep giving it a listen. It will click. Because I do think that there's a lot of good moments on this record, and honestly, like fuck, I think it's a great record.
Yeah. It's definitely an adjustment because the band previously, when they were rocking with two vocalists, would blend the screaming and the cleans in the songs, basically every single song. And now this album feels so jagged, I guess, because it is basically one or the other is what you're getting.
Yes,
which is fine. I understand. Eric's a human. I get it.
There's one dude now. I
get it. The dude is human. But that is honestly like the biggest change, obviously, throughout the band. Why I'm just taking the side of the record is good, but it's going to take time to really grow on me. I know I like it now, and I know that I'm going to like it more the longer I spend time with it. But the baseline listen of having a weekend to listen to this record and take it in, that's where I'm at. Is I know I'm gonna like this record even more. I like it now, but here's what I'm feeling the Tuesday after it comes out.
Exactly.
But you saying that kind of clicked it all together in my head of like, wait, no, the band used to do both at the same time, so that's why it's feeling like bop, 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 bop.
Jagged. Yeah. It's too clean cut. Where it's you need the blend, you need the balance. But if it's you're flip flopping between songs, it's hard to listen to. Because it's just like, fuck, where are we going with this? It's like I adjusted to this, and now we're going to this. It's just fucking great record though. I did like it. Arrows in Action dropped their second half of their record. I think I've been here before.
Yeah. So this is the full thing now. This is the full thing. We got the second half, but it's got the first half on it. They packaged it all together very nicely, which I appreciate. Bands that split their albums into two don't always wind up putting them together as a package on Spotify. So I appreciate that. I wasn't sure if we were going to get both sides as like the full package. We have an interview out with Arrows in Action where we kind of dove in to the whole thing. It was a heavy emphasis on side A because it was shot way earlier in the year and came out alongside side A, but we were given both sides to listen to. So we just kind of chatted about both. Since it was formally announced that there were going to be two sides, there was just no release date for the second half. And I think the one thing that they really talked about pretty heavily was the sonic shift across the two sides, and hence that kind of being why it was part of why it was split up, or at least made sense. There was other reasons for splitting it up, but that was one of the reasons of it makes sense is the sonic shift, and the first half being very light sounding, and the second half being a little bit darker. I think lyrically, the themes are kind of the same. There's a lot of similar themes kind of strewn about the entire record that I'm picking up on, getting to listen to this thing in its entirety again. But there's definitely a sonic shift that happens at the midway point of the album, where it does get darker. It does start to feel like this fall vibe. The first half, it feels like I'm driving windows down, doing 80 on the highway, winds blowing, doing that. And then the second half, feels like I'm sitting here with my hood up, being like, damn, it's cold outside, and getting the late fall vibes from the second half of the record. But I think it's really solid. Arrows in Action is a band they've been following for a very long time. We had them on the podcast back in 2020, and we've been following along ever since. It's been a very, very long road with this band, which I love. But and one thing I always commend is, goddamn, this band can write a fucking song. They can write a fucking chorus, and that's just littered across this record. Every single song on here is super catchy, hooky, which I love. I love the way it opens with Celebration. Feel It Again is one of my favorites still. Empty Canvas rocks. Cheekbones, which was a single like ahead of side A. It just randomly came out, but wound up being on side B. That's one of my favorites. Corner of Your Mind, and then the closer, Stay Awake, are all absolute bangers. But that doesn't discredit the rest of the album. That's all equally as incredible. Those were just the standouts for me. But yeah, like I said, this band can write a mean chorus, and that's basically that's just the thing I consistently come back to about this band, is they continue to blow me away. Like the song like Uncomfortably Numb, or All the Ways I Could Die, which were songs off of their EP from 2021, ahead of even the debut record Built to Last, are like, holy shit, okay, I don't know if the choruses can get any better. And then they continue to do it.
And then
they continue to level up past that point, because like those songs, those are the reason why those songs absolutely blew the band up to another dimension. Like I said, we interviewed them in 2020, ahead of everything. There was just singles out at the time, and then like the next year, Gloria and I are looking at this being like, oh, look at what these songs are doing. They were all over our TikTok. It was just like actively watching a band that we'd interviewed blow up was insane. So, we've been, like I said, we've been following along ever since. And I was like, there's no way it's going to get any better than this. And then every time we review a new record from them, I'm like, okay, it's gotten better. What the fuck?
Keep evolving. It's insane. Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I always just commend the songwriting, is because they're just unlimited amounts of hooks and catchy choruses that this band just continues to shit out, and I love it. So shout out that. But yeah, this album is really solid, and I'm excited to see what it does for the band.
Damn straight. This record blew me away. Honestly, it had like every single note of music, this type of music, pop rock, that I love, where it's kind of like that nostalgia, that's sunny. It has moments, it has down moments. It's like it hit every emotion. It matched the weather, it matched the season, that kind of like summer to autumn vibe. It's fucking phenomenal. As you said, they know how to write a fucking song. They know how to write a catchy ass chorus. It's like they know how to do everything, and now I'm just waiting for them to blow up. This record specifically reminds me of kind of that 2020 feeling where I was getting into pop rock. I was really into All Time Low at the time, and I was really into Happy, which is also, damn, rest in peace, Happy. Shout out. Oh shit, it's out of frame. No, Imposter Syndrome's right there. But I was really into kind of like that pop rock vibe where it's just like riding with your windows down, basically the entire picture that you already painted. And I think that this record hits that core of nostalgia for me, where it's just like, I know we shit on it at the time. I unfortunately did like a lot of it. That was when Hello Sunshine by All Time Low came out. It was that sunny vibe. I mean, they just released, I think it was like Birthday, where that was like one of my favorite songs for a couple years. Catchy as shit. It's just pop rock. I love it. This record is just so fun, and it is so bright, and it's so sunny. And then it does cross into kind of like a more edgier, darker side of it. But I love that they split it. I love that they released it the way that they did. I think, honestly, for a record like this, I think they nailed the release. it fucked. I loved this a lot. My personal favorites, I really enjoyed, obviously the first half was my favorite because it was incredibly nostalgic for me. So Celebration, I loved Hello Sunlight, I loved Deja Vu, and then also because, dude, I can't get away from it. When I do log on to fucking TikTok, I always see arrows in action. It is like that. If I'd put money on it, I would be rich right now. But Cheekbones is also my favorite. I'm happy that that's blowing up for them, and that's huge and very exciting. I hope it continues. I hope that fire keeps burning. So, good job.
Hell yeah. Super Whatever dropped their new EP, Hum. Still love the fact that Super Whatever is back in the year of 2025. We had gotten a couple of quick demos earlier this year, and then Sky randomly posted on Instagram one day that there was going to be a new EP on September 19th, and I was like,
well, good morning to you too.
Hello there. This EP features some songs that we have already heard from Sky's solo project, as well as a handful of new songs. And it's very much stripped back, reminiscent of very early Super Whatever, yes. which I appreciate. Sky's vocals are very much at the forefront, which is something that should always be spotlighted within Super Whatever's music, just due to the fact that not only what he's saying is gut-wrenching, but the way he delivers it is also as equally as gut-wrenching.
Always very emotional, yeah.
Yeah, which is why I was really digging his solo project, because it was just him and the acoustic guitar, which is EP. Obviously continues, some of the songs even being off of the solo project. So yeah, I'm loving this EP, because there were songs on here that I was like, all right, you didn't have to cut so deep, buddy. Why'd you have to say it like that? Corduroy Boy, the main one being like, I actually looked up and I was like, did he just say that to me?
It's like, wait a minute, was this supposed to go on the record?
As well as Postpone, those songs are really solid. Those are ones that we hadn't heard already. But I also love Anita, I'm Losing, Worrying About You. Those are songs we've heard, as well as Talking Heads. That was my favorite single that we had heard from Sky. So to have that on the EP to close things off is really solid, and I'm stoked about that. But yeah, like I said, this is going back to the basics of what made Super Whatever, which I really enjoy. It's just Sky in the forefront, and that is crucial for this band, not getting wrapped up in all sorts of production, although I did really like Don't You Want to Be Glad. That's my favorite Super Whatever record. There is definitely something to say about stripping all that production back that is found on that album and just basically leaving Sky with an acoustic guitar. That's the basis of Super Whatever. This EP is the basis of Super Whatever. It is the perfect thing to kind of, I know we had a couple of demos at the beginning of the year, but this is kind of the perfect first official release, in a sense, to reintroduce the band and come back, because it's just taking the band back to the basics, which I love and I feel is necessary. So yeah, I'm really digging this, and I'm excited for more.
I can't top that. I was thinking as you were talking, I was like, fuck, he's taking every single goddamn point. I can't. Damn. Yes to all of that. I think that this EP is absolutely, I think it's fucking phenomenal. I mean, I've been a fan of Super Whatever since 2019. I don't know. And seeing the rise and fall, unfortunately, of the band, because shit happens, bands go breaks, hiatus, break up.
Sky had a family,
Sky's like 2 children now, and so it's like, I get it. I get it. Whatever, man.
Shit happens. Life happens,
Shit happens. What can you do? Jesus fucking Christ. So seeing Super Whatever come back, I think you texted me one day, or you just brought it up in conversation. You were like, Super Whatever's back. And I was like, what the fuck are you just gonna drop that on me? And then we went into an interview. It was just like, oh my God, it's like, so-and-so's coming home. Oh my God, I didn't know. I don't feel prepared. I'm not, I need to make the bed.
That's because I did the same thing to you that Sky did to me. Sky just texted me, he goes, oh, by the way, the band's back. I'm like, oh, what a wait. Good morning.
Exactly. Hello, how are you? What happened to that? So finally having the EP, having the trickle of singles, and those singles being absolutely phenomenal. Anita, I'm Losing, and Worrying About You were my personal favorites, and honestly, Worrying About You is still my favorite off of the record. Just being reintroduced to Super Whatever in this era, and I completely agree with you where it's like starting from the ground up again. It's like meeting someone again and being like, "Hey, that was Saul, I'm Paul." You know, like that type shit, right? Hell yeah. Um but it's just I really like this record. It brings me so much joy. It's such a warm record, even touching on harder subjects or vulnerable topics. It's just so warm because it is so authentic and it is so Sky. So it's just like it feels like my buddy sent me demos and was like, "Hey, I'm working on this. What do you think?" That is kind of like the familiarity and the friendliness that I get off of this record. Super Whatever, welcome back. It is so good to have you back. Chapel and Super Whatever back in the same year. What the fuck is happening?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk?
What a great
2020
time.
us would not have believed.
What a great tour, by the way. That
Let's-
was life changing.
Let's
Life
put it.
changing that
Wait,
tour.
that should happen.
Yeah, Super
With
Whatever, Chapel,
Waterparks?
and Happy.
When did that happen?
2020. Super Whatever's only headlining tour. Come on, you knew this. I went.
I'm mourning again. I feel like I mourned it back then, and now fuck, Happy was on that tour.
Yeah. I have a photo with them somewhere, minus tape.
I do. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember the photo. Wow, that's literally like the greatest tour, like 2020 tour I've ever heard. That's insane. That's like my biggest interest at that time.
I think I might have a poster somewhere because I think I had bought the tour poster and then like everyone except Tate, because Tate wasn't at the merch table, signed it like from Happy. I think I
Just
have
send
it somewhere.
To Tate. Text him. Like, can you,
I think I might have it somewhere.
Dude, can I have that? You know,
no, I'll put it right behind me.
And I'm not gonna show up anymore.
And
if I join
in every call like this moving forward.
Fuck off, man. Fuck off, man. KennyHoopla dropped his new EP, Conditions of an Orphan. This record's weird. It's not at all what I expected. So KennyHoopla has been kind of experimenting, just going around different genres, kind of hopping around, doing different shit. My favorite thing that he has released is Survivor's Guilt, the mixtape. I think that is like his biggest release in recent days, where he tackled pop punk. He did an entire record with Travis Barker. That was huge. I mean, that's when I saw him for the first time, was at Buku Fest in 2022. And it was off that record. So then after, Survivor's Guilt, he went into kind of like a hazy, like underground sound, and that was a little strange. I mean, I still love his voice, so it's like honestly fucking he could be doing anything and saying anything, and I'm like, hell yeah, that sounds great. I'm in. But this record, it is definitely back in the alternative space. It versus kind of, as I said, kind of like that indie hazy era. I really don't know like what genre to put it under. I don't think it was necessarily alternative, but
it was like atmospheric type of it was very weird considering we hadn't really covered him since the mixtape Survivor's Guilt. Going in and listening to Rebirth Renaissance, I was so like, what did someone upload tracks under his name? They're still there.
Exactly. It's like someone needs to take this down because this is clearly not right. So going into this record, I was a bit hesitant because me being fucking stubborn with bands and artists, unfortunately, I am one of those people who's like, well, you don't sound how I want you to sound, so it's just not good. I still liked those, as I said, I liked the Atmosphere track, but I was hesitant going into this EP because it's like, from what I had heard in recent days, I was like, fuck, this is gonna be like indie, atmospheric, fucking hazy shit, and I'm gonna suck it up and I'm gonna listen to it. This was definitely more back in the alternative space. I mean, it's almost kind of like punk elements, but kind of like that self-recorded garage, rough, grimy elements, but it's not heavy. So it's a little confusing in that spot for me because I understand kind of like the production style and I understand the recording and the approach to it, but it's just like the genre still doesn't match to me. It's like the approach I get, it's alternative, but the actual like sound of it is weird. I think it's fine. It's not my favorite, but it's a step up. I would rather this than the hazy stuff.
Now you see, like hearing that, I'm feeling the complete opposite way of like I actually really dig this because I think it's the perfect blend of what I thought that he was going to sound like back in May or whenever we covered the small EP of like what the fuck is this, kind of mixing that like indie atmospheric sound and kind of creating this indie pop with like pop rock elements that this EP overall has, with like some electronic elements on it as well that I really dig, and that, like, honestly, like, you know, it's not a genre I listen to all the time, but you know, as we know, I indulge in some pop here and there, and that's kind of what this album ultimately has for me, which I really like, especially towards the end, like Orphan and Mona Lisa, We Miss You, like those songs blew me the hell away, but that's not to discredit the first three songs, because there's only 5 songs on this thing: Charity, Too Many Jocks Turned Rockstar, and Naysayers. Like all 5 songs, each time I was like, all right, like this is gonna take a turn, this is gonna get weird, but it stayed very much in this like indie pop rock lane, which I think he kind of excels in. You know, I love the alternative stuff, but it's very clear that he's big for experimenting, and if you look at his discography and features he's done, he's all over the map, in terms of sonics, doing a little bit of everything, which I can appreciate, you know, not boxing yourself in, and having a sound for basically anybody, because it covers such a wide variety of genres across the board. You know, personally, as an alternative podcast, we prefer the alternative stuff, the pop punk. Nothing really tops Survivor's Guilt, but I do think that at this current point, at least, but I do think that what I heard on this is getting very close, because it's another one of those genres that I do enjoy, and is such a departure from the quick little second of indie atmospheric stuff that we got that really just confused the ever living piss out of me.
It was hard. Yeah,
where I am
going so hard into it. It was fine. It was honestly,
it was just
wasn't
interesting.
Hard to listen to.
It was just interesting. Yeah, and not something we would normally cover if it wasn't an artist we had already covered in the past. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I do think that this is really solid. I think all 5 songs on here really stand out. You know, there was only one single going into this, so there's plenty meat on the bone to go digest. It's only 15 minutes long, but there wasn't a bunch of singles leading into this, so it's like listening through and getting a new experience, which I appreciate just from a rollout perspective. And yeah, overall, I do think that this is pretty solid. It's a step back in the right direction, but I know that that does not mean that it's going to keep trending that way, just based on what we know about his discography. It could go this way, it could go that way. It could be folk tomorrow, country the next day, you know, rock and roll the next day, rap the day after that, pop the day after that, and then I don't know, fucking EDM on the day after the pop stuff, you know. So like it could cover the gambit over the course of the next 6 months, and it's just part of being a fan of KennyHoopla. But that is something I respect about him as well. So yeah, I do enjoy this EP, and I'm stoked to see what comes next.
Damn straight.
Don BROCO dropped their new single, Disappear Glory. Just take this one away.
Okay, Don BROCO, you did it again. Okay, so they've dropped 3 singles so far. If you've been tuning in, if you're in the Don BROCO cinematic universe, they have Cellophane, they have Hype Man, and then now they have Disappear. Out of all of them, Disappear is my favorite. It is, honestly, I think Hype Man is the most Don BROCO single so far, but Disappear just has that oomph to it, you know. It like Rob does so many like little vocal ticks in it. It's just so fun. I love all that, like the descending and then the build up. It's like shit fucks. It is such a good blend of kind of like the chaos that was Hype Man, but also the heaviness that is Cellophane. So I feel like Cellophane was a good introduction of kind of like, guys, we're going to be doing something heavier. And then Hype Man was like, guys, don't worry, we're still Don BROCO. And then this is like the perfect combination of the two. This is my favorite single so far. I love Don Broco. I'm very excited for, I'm assuming, an album. The singles are stacking. They all have the same cover art. They just haven't fucking announced it. I'm very excited for the record. Our email is goodnoisepodcast@gmail.com, Mr. Brocos. So just let me know.
Yeah, this song is solid. It's definitely been a step up since Cellophane.
Cellophane fucks. Honestly, that's my second favorite single.
But an interesting song to say the least to kick off whatever cycle they're in currently. But yeah, I like this song. I still think Hype Man's my favorite. But I did enjoy this one. But Glory's the resident Broco fan here, so we just we just give that to her.
Oh my god, sorry. I didn't mean to snort on the podcast. Holy shit. Of Mice and Men dropped their new single Troubled Water. This fucked. I thought this was really good. It's really fucking catchy too. Heavy, good, fucked with it.
I think that this is the best single off the record so far. I'm excited for the album. It comes out in like a month and a half or so, November 14th, which I'm very, very excited about. I've been spinning the single a lot. Like I said, I think it's my favorite, with Another Miracle kind of right up there in the number 2 spot. It's a nice shift from the previous single Wake Up, which was like, all right, what the fuck are we doing here? I know the band wants to have a melodic moment or two, a clean song, but come on, I want the heavy shit. And the song brings it right back, which I love. Thornhill dropped a new single, Mercia. I noticed that the cover art on this is alluding to a deluxe edition of Bodies.
I was thinking the same thing.
Which I'm very excited about, because that album very quickly grew on me, especially getting to see that tour live, the headline tour. Not to flex or anything, but I got to see that headline tour, and hearing a bunch of those songs live, having Jacob on the podcast to kind of dive into the record on the tail end of that tour, has all kind of sold me on the record. I spent a lot of time with it. It was an album that I was not expecting to spend a lot of time with this year, so just from previous, just thinking that they're cool and then not spending time with the previous records, I did not expect this one to click so much, but it did, and I am really stoked. I think that this song is awesome, and I'm excited for whatever is gonna come. Hopefully this isn't like the only new song on deluxe. I hate that. I hate that trend.
Or some bullshit.
I'd like a couple more new songs off the record, but we'll see.
100%. Thornhill is honestly one of my favorite bands that I've like rediscovered, or I guess reintroduced myself, gotten into this year. Bodies is still a phenomenal record and is one of my favorite albums that's dropped in 2025. Very excited to see what else this deluxe contains. I would love more music. Original new music, live tracks. I'll see you live if I want that. You feel me? Waterparks. The fucking king of fucking live tracks. Waterparks dropped a new single, If Lyrics Were Confidential. I liked this track. It's still like a little corny. I don't know what's going on. I love Waterpark. I mean, like, and then Double Dare is like right there. So it's like, I love Waterparks. Trust me. Red Guitar and this are like Red Guitar crossed the fucking line. This is like towing the line of being like, okay, that's a really good listen, to also, that's a little corny. But what I do like is that it strongly reminds me of Fandom. It strongly reminds me of kind of that era, especially lyrically. It's very strongly, hey, you guys fucking suck, to the Waterparks fan base, to the Parksies.
Yeah.
And I fucking love that. I love that he's expressing himself again. Because I mean, he wrote a whole album, like with a song called "Easy to Hate." Get the fucking point. I think it's fine. I think it's out of the two, it's my favorite. But
dude, I don't know if they put crack in this song or what the fuck. I have been spending so much time with it, and I don't even mean to. Like, I'm not someone that wants to spend a ton of time with a single when I know it's going to be part of a record, even though it's not announced. They've been very public about the fact that there's an album that they're working towards with these songs. And I can't stop listening to it. I don't know. It's so fucking catchy. I love how on the nose it is. I think Fandom was wrapped a little bit in metaphor, could be taken a different way. You could put different meanings to the songs that are about the fans. I know the record itself is called Fandom, but you can spin those songs to be a little bit more personal and not so wide.
Because I'm sure they are. It's the double-sided.
Yeah. Like I've always seen that record as knowing what it's about, and as a theme, but like a song like Easy to Hate you mentioned, I see that as more like a one-on-one relationship kind of song, even though now you saying that, I'm like, holy shit, you're right. The record's called Fandom.
It's called
Fandom.
Called Easy to
Hate.
About,
holy shit. Exactly. My world just exploded, and I've had that record to listen to for 6 years now, and it's my favorite Waterparks album.
We've listened to it like thousands of times.
We consistently bring that record up as a quintessential record in how you track list an album.
Absolutely.
And Glory just shattered my worldview on that record 6 years
now you
later.
Listen to it again.
I'm going to. What the fuck? But yeah, no, I love how on the nose the song is. There is no there is no double meaning to this song. No. I hate 50% of my fans, and the other half understand. It doesn't get much more on the nose than that. And
you can't work your way out of that one. It's like, oh shit.
And I love it. So yeah, I've been jamming this song a lot. I'm excited for what's to come. Ryan Oakes dropped his new single DHMU, Don't Hit Me Up. I can't lie,
I enjoyed this track.
It's fire.
Yeah, it feels like he's out of that loop that I kept talking about, where it just felt like it was the same beat every song, or it was the same flow every song, kind of that vibe. This single and the last one have definitely broken out of that. It feels new. It feels fresh. I'm very excited to see what else he's working on.
Yeah, same here. You know, I know he's very consistent in the music he puts out. Every 4 weeks we're talking about a new Ryan Oakes song. So it is kind of like, you know, there was that moment in the sessions where everything was a bit of the same, and now we're here and things are becoming all sorts of different sounds. The last single was out there. This song is different. There's a little bit of variety. I knew he had it in him because, you know, we've been covering Ryan Oakes now consistently for a couple of years, and there's been plenty of variety across his discography. Every single album that we've talked about has been a different take on you know, his sound and his style. So I knew it was coming. We just didn't know when.
Yeah, there you go. Pollyanna dropped their new single, Narcissist. This is my favorite Pollyanna track so far. This shit tickles my fancy so well. Consider my fancy giggling. You did it. I like this shit a lot. It's catchy as fuck. It has kind of like, I don't know. It tugs on me, you know? I'm saying too much. I'm doing way too much. It's tugging on me. It's tickling me.
You're saying a lot over there. Yeah, no, I really dig this song. It's my favorite single as well. When we went to the studio, and we went to the studio twice during this recording process, my boss and I, and the second time the record was basically done, so they played us the rough mixes at the time. And before this song was even finally mixed or mastered, I sat in the studio on the sofa in the main room, and I announced to who was in the room at the time, which I think it was just Jack and Rob, who was assistant producing on the album, and my boss. And I was like, this is the best song on the record. And so
you're telling me, I liked it before you. I liked it before you.
Basically, January, when I heard this song for the first time, well, even the demo had existed for a long time.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
When I heard the demo the first time, I was like, no, because this was...
You know, when I was told about the concept of the song, it was my favorite. I just love
this song since the beginning, and I'm glad that it made its way onto a single, because I think there's a lot of potential with this song, and I think that it's a topic that is very much on the nose, and something that a lot of people can relate to. I know I relate to this topic very much, and that's part of why it's one of my favorites off the record is the relatability, and I think that Jill crushed it vocally, and you know, I've told her all of these things, and we've had conversations about this song due to obviously her writing it and knowing that she relates to it, and then me relating to it as well. We've had these conversations, and I just need more people to hear it. So yeah, I've had this song for like a year and a half. I've loved it for a year and a half, but I'm just glad that it's finally out there. All Time Low dropped a new single, Butterflies. I've been really digging everything we've heard off this upcoming All Time Low record. I can't even lie, and I'm very excited for this new All Time Low album coming out in like 3 weeks. this shit rocks. They're gonna be on TV playing this song, or the weather maybe, because one of the songs is taken off.
They've been a baseball game.
But yeah, but they're performing on TV now. This week, like they're crushing it.
They're doing it. Yeah, I'm enjoying everything so far. I do not share the same views as Ronnie Radke with this song. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think that was the funniest fucking text you sent me. Where it's just like, congrats on being the fucking shittiest shit ever. I was like, I'm fucking 5 years old now. It's awesome. Bloom and Yours Truly dropped their new single, Tongue Tied. This combo fucks. This is like match made in heaven. I thought this song was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's the second time we've gotten this combo. We got it on the last Yours Truly album as well, so I was hoping that we would get the same thing this time around on the Bloom album. Yeah, it's a match made in heaven. I think that these two artists together make a lot of sense, and I'm glad that it happened again. Atreyu dropped their new single Dead. The way they teased this was kind of teasing a breakup, which it was hilarious to see how many people were like, oh my god, yes, they're breaking up.
No.
Like it made headlines that day, like in the metal news community. It made headlines that day because they teased this with like rip and a black screen, and like obviously they're not breaking up. They're in the midst of a tour celebrating the anniversary of The Curse, and they just put out a re-recorded version of that album.
That backfired
so
horribly.
Obviously they like, I saw that and I'm like, they're gonna start putting out new music. But like there were people that were like, oh my god, because like
it's about time.
It's been very divisive over the past several years with Atreyu and where they've been at sonically, although I think the last record was a return to form, and we've talked about that. I think that this song continues that return to form. It's way better than Baptized. Not to keep bringing that up, but that's just such a beacon in the sky
of shit.
Yes,
congratulations on being the shittiest shit or whatever. Again, whatever the fuck you said.
But I think that this continues to be a return to what the modern form of Atreyu is going to be. They just keep building on that, and I love that. I think that this song is pretty solid.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Honestly, Atreyu has been putting out some good stuff recently. It's still hilarious. That's awful that it backfired like that. That's like my worst nightmare.
I figured you knew about that. I didn't text you about it because I am like, she has to know about it. This is the only thing on my timeline.
No, man. I don't get any music shit on my timeline.
Both timelines. I would go on the podcast and the same fucking thing at the top of my personal was on the... Basically what I'm saying is I can't escape music at all.
You can't escape music. See, that's why you just wipe it, start over again.
I'm thinking about it. I'm new Instagram.
Yeah, Pibbles. Just you'll be fine. You'll stay safe. Jesus. Girlfriends dropped the new single Garbage.
Yeah, and they
enjoyed this.
They announced their upcoming record coming out in October. It fucking rocks. It's classic Girlfriends. Damn
straight. Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. Drain dropped their new single Scared of Everything and Nothing. Comes off their upcoming album out in November. And it fucking rocks. It's just a continuation of what we've been hearing thus far off the album, and I'm excited to hear the whole thing in a handful of weeks. Yeah,
damn straight. I thought this fucked. Big fan. I enjoyed this a lot. Drain has always been a band that I've been very, very curious about, like actually getting into. This might be my time.
Yeah,
we'll see. Greyhaven dropped their new single, Where the Light Leaves Us. Fuck, Greyhaven's so good, man. It's like, I really don't have much else to say. If you want to listen to fucking good music, just listen to Greyhaven.
This band's fucking awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, this song is great. I'm very excited for everybody to hear this record, and us included, to hear this record in a handful of weeks. October 10th cannot come fast enough. Right. As Everything Unfolds dropped their new single, Point of View. I've been really digging the couple of singles we've gotten from As Everything Unfolds. They've been a band that I've been seeing on our TikTok or For You page quite a bit, which I appreciate because I think that this band absolutely fucking rips. And I'm just excited to see what's coming next.
Damn straight. Better Lovers dropped their new single, Don't Forget to Say Please. Better Lovers, I'm happy they're back. I know it's only been like maybe like a year, two, but fuck, I was a massive fan of this project. I'm very excited to see what they got up.
Yeah, I'm honestly shocked that that we're getting new music so soon. Like I it feels like that record was not that long ago. So to see them on the playlist so soon, I'm excited. Massive tour going on this fall. So peep those dates. But yeah, this is fucking incredible. Taylor Acorn dropped a new single, Crashing Out. This comes off her upcoming record out at the end of October. And it's just, she's just continuing this pop rock sound that we're seeing with the past couple of singles. Catchy as shit. Exactly what you expect from Taylor Acorn. She just continues to do. We're like 3 singles in, and every single one is fucked.
Damn straight. Now, Taylor Acorn fucks. Music's incredible. Great track. Bearings and State Champs dropped a new single, Float Away. Come on.
I mean, this is when I heard that this song was going to be coming to fruition, I'm like, how has this not happened before?
Exactly. It's like such an easy, come on, we know this is gonna be fucking good. Where is it? Come on.
Yeah. Like this was this is obviously great on paper and is great in actuality. These two bands make a whole lot of sense together, and it's just it's great. It's great. It comes off the upcoming album out in November. In Her Own Words dropped a new single, Cherry Red. I think that this fucking rocks. I've been digging what we've been getting from In Her Own Words. And I'm just stoked. New record maybe. Who knows?
Question mark? Yeah, shit fucked. I'm a big fan. I enjoyed this thoroughly. All American Rejects dropped a new single, Search Party. I love All American Rejects.
Yeah. I thought that this one was a little bit on the interesting side. Whereas the first 2 singles have been very straight down the middle. This one was, who it is. Yeah, this one was a little odd, but that's fine. I think they've made it aware that they're back, so getting a little funky with it isn't going to turn anyone away.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hail the Sun dropped a new single, Insensitive Tempo, comes off their upcoming album. It fucking rocks. It's Hail the Sun. I've actually really been digging what we've been getting off the upcoming record. I think that it is a little less technical than what we've seen from Hail the Sun in the past, and that's not a bad thing, at least for myself, because it makes it a little bit more digestible. It's a little bit for the masses in a sense, which is something I appreciate. I've always appreciated Hail the Sun, but there's always I don't want to feel like I'm doing mental gymnastics when I'm listening to my tunes, and the singles thus far have made me not feel like that.
There you go. Hell yeah. I'm a big fan of Hail the Sun. I think their music's incredible. I think it's just a iconic sound that they have with Donovan's voice. Put them on anything and I'm a fan. You know? Fucks. Guilt Trip dropped a new single, Burn. This is our last topic.
Yeah. Just signed to Roadrunner, which is wild. They're on tour right now with Kubla Khan. And I thought that this song fucking ripped when I saw Roadrunner and then saw they were on tour with Kubla Khan. I was like, yeah, we're probably going to like this band. Happy to admit that I was right, at least on my front. I think that this band fucking rips. This song is sick. And I'm curious to see what's going to come next. You don't just sign to Roadrunner to drop a couple of singles and then fuck off, Yeah,
and then disappear. And then all right, guys, we're going to hiatus. That's not so. I thought the song was great. I mean, this is kind of your wild card of the fucking pick of the week. So going into it, I was like, he just finds shit, So I had no expectations.
Emails come in, I read them. I'm like, yeah, it's cool.
Throw it on there. Why not? So I had no expectations going into it, but I was thoroughly surprised. I thought this was really good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, as Gloria said, that's all the topics we have to take. You can follow us on Instagram. It's Good Noise Podcast. Facebook is Good Noise Pod. TikTok is Good Noise Podcast. YouTube is Good Noise Podcast. All the audio platforms are all Good Noise Podcast. And Patreon is patreon.com/Good Noise Podcast. Other than that, Gloria's got your Patreon supporters, Twitch subs, your important plugs, your merch store plug, and your Amazon storefront plug. And then we're going to sign off.
Amazon storefront. Check it out. It has everything you need to start a podcast. Talk about shit. Good shit. Be good. Don't use this shit for bad, fucking with great power comes great responsibility. Check out our merch. It is goodnoisepodcast.creator-spring.com. We have hats, we have hoodies, we have shirts.
No socks.
Patreon supporters, thank you to Matt from Pulses, Pop Punk Apologist, Infamous D-Bub, Tyson Mielder, and Eric. And thank you to our Twitch sub, Matt, again from Pulses. Thank you guys.
Thank you, everybody. Much appreciated, as always.
As always, important plugs, Black Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate, Free Palestine, fuck ICE, be a decent person, support small bands, And if you're gonna fucking crowd surf, maybe keep your feet up. I got knocked over. Like I fell on top of like 3 people in the Plotinu pit, and because this person was wearing massive fucking boots. So
Big ass
maybe
clobbers.
exactly. And I fucking back of my head, I didn't see shit coming. So yeah, keep your feet up.
Hell yeah. Well, that's all we have today. I've been Shane.
I've been Glory.
And we've been the Good Noise Podcast. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.